Alex, thank you very much for being here today. Last time we spoke, we were in London a few months ago, and you were talking to me about the fund that you guys are launching in Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, I'd be delighted. So we received our in-principle approval towards the end of last year. We have been putting all those conditions precedent in place, all the fund policies and procedures, and we're excited to launch over the summer. There's not much point in launching in Dubai in July and August because no one's there. Everyone's in London. So our self-storage Fund 1 and our purpose-built student accommodation PBSA Fund 1 will be launching just after the sort of the summer break, which we're very, very excited to take forward. We've seen a lot of interest, in particular on co-investment opportunities from the Middle East. I think a lot of the capital there has become a lot more sophisticated over the last few years. They want to co-invest. They want to see, especially with new managers, relatively new managers, they want to see that track record, how you execute, how you work with them, how you report before they write a check for 50 million in a fund, which of course makes a lot of sense to us, and we're delighted to co-invest with them. So yeah, we're excited.
Great. And what about Portugal? We are here recording this interview in Portugal at the moment, and we see a lot of conversations going on in the market. But what's the average, the perception of the international investors about Portugal at the moment?
So I remember, I probably shouldn't plug my old fund, but we did the largest office deal in Portugal, sort of full stop. That was a few years ago. That was 400 million euros. And back then, the core concern was liquidity. Who is going to buy an asset of that size in Portugal, where it's the biggest office in the country? I believe that deal was one of the best in their fund. But again, that was a few years ago now. So as we look forward, I think there's still opportunities in Portugal in the smaller equity ticket sizes, so sort of 10 to 30 million range. But in terms of the bigger funds coming and looking to deploy 100, 200 million, which you saw 4 or 5 years ago, I think that's unlikely going forward. But what we are seeing now is money from Brazil, Angola, those kind of regions coming across, looking for these medium ticket sizes, and then also just the strong international market looking for individual apartments is still there, especially at the luxury end, which, although you're not seeing the double-digit growth that you saw maybe 2 or 3 years ago, it's still remained very stable.
And how do you compare the opportunities here in Portugal with other more mature markets?
So we operate student housing and self-storage primarily in Italy and Germany. So comparing those two, actually Italy and Portugal have some similarities in terms of Italy and Portugal have some challenges, shall we say, in the regulatory environment. You want to build something in the center of Florence or the center of Lisbon. It's difficult, it's challenging, it's going to take time, you need to know how to navigate. And so what that does is it puts the brakes on the market sometimes. So when you have that huge weight of capital that was here maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, it couldn't deploy as fast as it wanted to because of those constraints. But now that weight of capital has reduced. Instead of seeing this big drop in the market, it's just slowed down because it was never going that fast.
Perfect. And what kind of opportunities would you be looking for here in Portugal? Is there any specific asset class or any specific location that would attract you?
So we have a current portfolio, and we looked at what should we do with this. It's a mixture of offices, residential, and clearly heads on beds is always a good thing. You look at Portugal, there's a dearth of supply of housing for not only locals, but the more luxury international market. So that is going from strength to strength. Again, it's not the sort of heady returns that you saw previously, and the cost of development has gone up significantly, but that has stabilized. The other sector, hospitality, is still very hot at the moment. I would say, again, the ADRs that you've seen just go through the roof over the last 3 years have to surely stabilize now. But it's still a very solid base. And the Americans coming over, spending huge amounts of money in Lisbon. When you walk down towards Baixa, and all you really hear are American voices, maybe a slight exaggeration, but there's a huge weight of tourism here that's driven up the ADRs, but it's also hasn't massively increased the stock in the market because Lisbon is pretty small, right? So you've not seen loads of new supply come on the market. It's just increased the quality of the current stock, which we think was only good for the market.
Perfect. Alex, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.